They said Kwame Adeyemi danced at his mother's funeral and smiled. In the dusty town of Asempa, where red earth clung stubbornly to your slippers and gossip traveled faster than Hamatan winds, there lived a young man who could not stop dancing. Kwame Adeyemi was born dancing. The midwife swore that when he entered the world, he didn't cry first. He kicked his tiny legs in rhythm, as though distant drums were calling only his name. His mother laughed through her exhaustion and whispered, "Oh, my little festival." From that day on, the boy moved as though silence offended him. Rain or shine, joy or sorrow, market day or church service, Kwame danced. When the sun scorched the village and farmers wiped sweat from their brows, he spun across the fields, feet lifting spirals of red dust into the air. When thunder cracked the sky open and rain swallowed the roads, he leaped into puddles, trailing beneath lightning as if the storm were his spotlight. At first, people said it was a gift. Then they said it was a curse. As a child, his dancing was charming. At weddings, he stole the show. At harvest festivals, elders tossed coins at his feet, laughing with pride. Even traveling drummers passed through Asempa, paused mid-beat just to watch him move. He didn't dance like someone who had learned steps. He danced like something was moving through him. But as he grew older, the charm thinned. He danced when goats went missing. He danced when the chief made grave announcements. He danced the day his father lost his job at the cocoa factory. And then one day, he danced at a funeral. It was his mother's. The entire village gathered beneath the old baobab tree. Women wailed into cloth. Men stood rigid with grief. The air felt heavy enough to choke on. Kwame stood beside the casket, eyes hollow, fingers trembling. At first, his shoulders began to shake. People thought he was crying, but then his foot tapped. Left, right, spin. A murmur rippled through the crowd, slowly at first, as if fighting himself. Kwame began to move. His body swayed to a rhythm that did not match the morning drums. His face held no joy, no mockery, only something deeper, relief. Gasps tore through the mourners. His uncle lunged forward. "Have you no shame?" But Kwame slipped from his grip and danced harder, faster, until two men restrained him. From that day on, Asempa called him mad. Children followed him through the streets, mimicking his movements. Women shook their heads. Men refused to meet his eyes. Even the drummers fell silent when he approached. But still, Kwame danced. He danced alone in moonlight fields. He danced in the empty marketplace before dawn. He danced when skies were clear and when storms howled. And something strange began to happen. Whenever Kwame danced near someone sick, they recovered. When old Mama Abena collapsed outside her hut, Kwame had been spinning nearby. As villagers rushed to lift her, his movement circled her like a restless wind. By evening, she was sitting upright asking for soup. When a child slipped into the river and vanished beneath the current, Kwame dove in. He did not swim like others. He twisted, kicked, spiraled through the water like a living current. Somehow, the boy surfaced safely in his arms. Whispers began. "I think he moves with the spirits," someone said. "No," another insisted softly. "The spirits move with him." Then came the drought, the worst Asempa had known in decades. Crops shriveled into brittle skeletons. Wells coughed up mud. Goats collapsed in the shade. The chief called for prayers. Pastors shouted into dry skies. Sacrifices were made, but nothing. Hope thinned. One evening, as the sun bled orange across crackled earth, Kwame walked into the center of the barren field and he began to dance. There were no drums, no music, only wind scraping against dry leaves. He stomped, he spun, he struck the earth again and again as if trying to wake something sleeping beneath it. At first, people ignored him, but he did not stop. Through sunset, Through darkness, through the cold bite of midnight, his movements grew wild, not playful, desperate. Dust swirled around him like a rising storm. Blood seeped from the cracks in his heels. Sweat poured down his back. His eyes rolled upwards, seeing something no one else could see. Still, left, right, spin. By midnight, the whole village stood watching. By dawn, Kwame was still dancing. Then the sky rumbled, not dramatically, just a low, uncertain growl. One drop fell, then another, and suddenly the heavens opened. Rain crashed over Asempa in heavy sheets. People screamed. They lifted their hands. They fell to their knees, laughing and crying at once. And in the center of it all, Kwame collapsed. Villagers rushed to him. He was still warm, but he was not breathing. The rain continued to fall. The earth drank deeply. And for the first time in his life, Kwame Adeyemi stopped dancing. They buried him where he had fallen. The drought ended. Crops returned. The village prospered like never before. But here is the part elders whisper when the night grows heavy. Every year, on the anniversary of the rain, when the clouds gather and the winds hum low across the fields, the ground over Kwame's grave trembles. Not violently, not frighteningly, just enough for dust to rise in a small spiral. And if you stand very still, you can hear it. Faint, soft, left, right, spin. As though somewhere beneath the earth, Kwame Adeyemi is still dancing.